whoever emerges out of February 2nd is going to make this party proud on to victory in November. So let's hear it for all of them one more time. In addition to the fantastic candidates we have running for governor, we also have a very impressive group of candidates running countywide here in Cook County. And they deserve a lot of credit for stepping up to the plate. Every candidate here today deserves a lot of credit for stepping up to the plate, but I want to give special recognition to these folks who are running in the heart of Democratic territory in Cook County, taking on the challenge, willing to fight the fight for the Republican Party, and looking forward to seeing some real change in leadership in Cook County government. I'm going to ask all the Cook County candidates who are running countywide to stand up, and we're going to recognize them one by one, and then we'll hear from a few of them. The Cook County Republican Party put together a ticket. It's headed by Roger Keats, who's running for state senator. Roger is a former state senator running for county board president. We have Angel Garcia, who's running for county clerk. Angel. We have Sharon Eckersall, who's running for assessor. Sharon. We have Paul Chaldikas, who's running for Water Reclamation District. Frederick Collins, who's running for sheriff in Cook County. And Dan Padlick, who's running for Board of Review. I'd also like to mention, and this is a candidates forum, so there are many candidates, and some of these primaries are contested. We have Sean Morrison, who's also running for the Board of Review. Sean. And we have John Garrido, who's running for county board president. And we're going to hear first from our county board president, two candidates. And I do want to say this now. The county party has endorsed Roger. The local party has endorsed John Garrido. But something I'm going to say is both these men are fine character, and I think both of them represent what's good about the Republican Party, and both have to share the same goals of taking on the Democratic corruption in Cook County, taking out the Stroger administration policies. They both deserve a lot of credit for standing up and fighting for reform. We're going to start with State Senator Roger Keats, who's running. Roger, why don't you come on up here? We're going to start with you, State Senator Roger Keats.
Thank you to all of you for being here. Pardon, I'm limping around a little bit. Back surgery last week, so I'll be fine in a couple of weeks. Just a little rough at the moment. But thank you. The whole point of the Cook County government is it is a service organization, and you're who we serve. And I thank you for the opportunity that we have to let you know what we're doing and what would work well. Also, I wanted to mention that you came in later. Tony Pareka, our pal, is here too, who's the next county board go with Peter and the rest of our county folks. The reason I've been endorsed by the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Sun-Times, the Cook County Republican Party, City of Chicago Republican Party, Cook County Farm Bureau, across the board, Tony, Paul Vallis, a whole series of people, is, I think, best summed up actually by a Democrat. There's a guy named Phil Crone. You know, remember Phil Crone was a Democrat political operative starting in about the 1890s. He's been around that long. One of Mayor Daley's right-hand guys. In his blog, he was endorsing a Democrat candidate. Obviously, he's a Democrat political consultant. But his argument at the beginning was, he says, we got to get serious about this. He says, Roger Keats is the best Republican candidate since Dick Ogilvy, the last Republican to win. He says, and what scares them is not simply that they don't like my ideas, because I am a Republican. I believe in the conservative free market ideals of a guy who supported Ronald Reagan for president 4 times, not 3 times. I was back in Reagan in '68. So it isn't just that my ideas are our ideas, but they said based on Roger's proven track record over the years, they're nervous about it. I just might actually get them done. That's the point the Tribune made. That's the point the Sun-Times has made. That's the point each of the groups are saying. What's important, and this is why we have to remember, Republican ideals are great. We're conservative people. We believe in certain limits on government. We don't believe in no government. We believe in limited government, but a government that is tax efficient. But what's important is We need someone who can competently get that done. And in Cook County, as some of our friends sitting right here can tell you, is one Republican alderman. It takes a little work to be effective when you're the one Republican alderman. As the president of the Cook County Board, there will be a Democrat majority in that board. I'd like to think we're going to slice one or two of them off, but they're going to be a majority. And I'm going to tell you a real quick story, just so you understand. Some of you, most of you don't look old enough, particularly ladies, none of you look old enough to remember Operation Greylord back in the 80s. They sent 100-some judges and lawyers to jail in Cook County. And the Democrat response was, who cares, you know. Nobody wanted to touch the issue. That was Mike Madigan's playground. You don't want to mess with Mike Madigan. After waiting a year and realizing nobody wanted to fool with it, I started to organize, got together groups, and as a Republican, got every Republican lined up, worked with the Black Caucus, worked with the Hispanic Caucus, the people who I reminded them, when we looked at who was indicted, there were three things you could say. None were black, none were Hispanic, and none were Republicans. We figured out who the good guys were. Let's do a coalition of the good guys and take out the bad guys. It took 3 years. The case went to the state Supreme Court, but we passed it. And you notice not one single judge has been indicted since we passed the sub-circuit legislation, because what it did was it opened it up so it wasn't just Mike Madigan handpicking whatever stooge he felt like putting on the bench. Now, what the important part of the story is that we took Republican principles in a Democrat-controlled legislature, peeled off Democrats, took time to do it, built coalitions, and fixed the problem. That's why the Tribune, the Sun-Times, the Cook County Republican, the City of Chicago Republican, why Tony, why Paul Vallis, people who studied it, know how it's done, have supported me. Because when you're really a reformer, you have shown that you actually have gotten it done. Because if you don't have a track record to show you're a reformer, it's great to talk about reform. But you know what? If you can't get it done, it really doesn't matter. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for this opportunity to talk to all of you. And I look forward to working with you all the way through November. Thanks a lot.
John Garrido, the other Republican candidate running for Cook County Board President.
Thank you very much for your time today. Like Roger said earlier, or somebody else said, I am John Garrido, and I am your endorsed candidate for Republican Cook County Board President. And I thank you very much for that. I'm also endorsed by Mike McAuliffe, Brian Doherty, Peter Silvestri, and Skip Saviano. And the reason why they endorse me is because they know that we need to have a candidate who can get in there and who can win and who can reach out to the majority of voters, not just the elite few. Now, I've been a Chicago police officer for 19 years. I currently work over here in the 25th District as a tactical lieutenant. I'm also an attorney. I have a small law firm up on the northwest side of Chicago. As you all know, right now, we have a golden opportunity. This is our chance to unplug the Cook County portion of the Chicago machine. But we need a candidate who can stand up and fight against that Chicago machine. I am running for Cook County Board President because I am fed up with politicians just not doing the job that they were elected to do. Our taxes are way too high, and I'm tired of being treated like an ATM by these machine politicians. Once elected, I pledge to take a 10% pay cut, and I've already asked all other elected officials to do the same. I will also lower our taxes, and I will start with that 1% sales tax. We'll repeal that. That tax has got to go. It's killing jobs and killing businesses around our county. I will also get rid of the politically connected. I will make sure that we double the Inspector General's office and give them the teeth that they need to get in there and root out corruption. Now, there's no doubt that you've heard this all before from other politicians, but the difference is I am not a career politician, and I don't come from a long line of politicians. And unlike Todd Stroger, this is not a birthright for me. I'm actually working for it and going to have to earn it. So what I'm asking is that you reach out to your networks, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and let them know that there's a candidate running who is not part of the Chicago machine, a candidate who is ready and willing to stand up for you and to fight the machine and win this election. I can win no matter who they run on the other side. So once again, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to taking this to victory in November. Thank you.
We're going to move on and